हुआ जो तेरे नजर नीम कश तो क्या हासिल मजा तो जब है किसी ने किया पार चले.
This is Listening with Franklin Livingston, and our guest is Chelsea Hart.
So today we have Chelsea Hart, an activist and a comedian. And she said to me, "Hey, whatever you want to say because I'm famous." Would you have like millions of followers somewhere?
Yeah.
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 I know that. Yeah. So, but when you say activist, activists are different kind of activists, right? Like about the environment, women's right.
I'm a human rights activist. I'm an influencer, and that just kind of fell on my lap during the pandemic.
Oh, being an influencer.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like in the UK before, and I was just a comedian, and I liked traveling, and I very much love people.
Yeah.
And
language.
languages, yes. I get very inspired by people. I love Bosnia, which taught me a lot about Islamophobia, which taught me a lot about anti-Muslim bigotry, because the Bosnian genocide was an Islamophobic event. There's no doubt. And then I learned Hindi, and I learned about, do you know Shashi Tharoor? Oh my God! Oh my God! No, this he's a member of the Lok Sabha.
Which is a parliament, right?
Yeah.
I only know about modern mixed Hindi, which
No. What I'm saying, he went very viral for a really good reason.
What was the reason?
He did an Oxford speech on why the British owe India, and by extension Pakistan, reparations.
Oh, is he the guy who has a very how to say, like,
Sounds
very,
English.
yeah,
Has a very English accent, like
but
this,
very nice English accent.
Yes, hello, I'm Shashi Tharoor.
Like not like uneducated type.
Oh, he's very fancy. He's terribly fancy.
I might have heard because this phrase, because when you scroll through your social media.
So Oxford Union, but he made this speech. So, I'm learning Hindi, and I'm interacting with all these people, and I'm having all this new information, and just like, I get very inspired by these things. But I was a comedian, and then we all got locked down. And I just started ranting in a silly way about all these things that I like, and it just took off from there. And it's been 5 years now, and now that's just my life. And I enjoy it. You just have to balance and take care of your mental health, because it's very heartbreaking all the time. Just watching all these regimes abusing beautiful people, and you have to just watch that and just feel kind of powerless, and you just get up and do it again the next day.
And you have something on your hand. You have a connection with Persian language too.
Yeah, this is from Iran. Damet Germ. Damet means, I'm sure you know, in Urdu, hamdam or hamdam.
Hamdam.
Yeah, in Farsi it's hamdam.
So they have a ham.
It's actually interesting. It's no. I mean, can you read Devanagari? No, you can only read Urdu.
Yeah.
Okay. So Urdu and Persian are like
sister languages.
No, Urdu is Hindi sister.
Something funny.
Urdu or Hindi,
it's funny or what? Pakistan's national anthem is in Persian.
It's in standardized Urdu. That's why it's so Persian.
We don't understand what it is.
No, because Hindi. Hindi takes more from Pali and Sanskrit influence, whereas standardized Urdu was an invention by the Mughal Empire, and their court language at one point was Persian, so they added in a lot of Persian words. But actually Persians, when they hear Pakistani speak, they can't understand everything, because it's very interesting. Like Devanagari is an Abugida, whereas Urdu and Persian are Abjads. like, which means like when you write it, you don't always mark the vowels.
Conry, can I have a drink? It's so like, I don't know if I
No,
understand it.
no. So like in Urdu, when you're writing, you don't always mark the vowel, but you know what it is when you read it. You just know.
Yeah, mark the vowel means those itty bitty things on the top and bottom.
Yeah,
Like in Arabic.
and then in and then sometimes in Urdu, like chale, when you write chale in Urdu, like there's like a little like line at the end, right? Yeah, like so sometimes you mark it, whereas in
It's been decades, years
I can
I've
read
read
Urdu now because I learned Persian.
Okay, I wish I had something
I
to.
know. I can read it. I can read my favorite
So,
poetry now. I can read my favorite poetry now.
Okay, great. If you like poetry,
I love Urdu poetry. Who doesn't love Urdu poetry?
like a lot of white people don't even understand. You're white still, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, you're like, no.
My
I
favorite
just like
poet is Faiz Ahmed Faiz.
Yes. You did say that. You did tell
He's
me.
my favorite. He's my
But
very
talk to me
favorite.
about this humdum. Translate
Okay,
it in
so
English. What is
okay,
humdum?
so Devanagari is different from Urdu and well, Nastaliq is what you would call it. Devanagari is an abugida, which means every character has an implicit vowel automatically. And that implicit vowel in Hindi is ba, right? So, if you would write um like the letter B in Hindi is actually the letter like b. It's automatically with an implicit vowel, and then you add little hats or beards to it to make it ba or boo. Whereas in Persian, the implicit vowel in the abjad leans more towards a. So this invisible vowel that you see in Persian, when they write theirs, they only write like the word must.
Must.
Right? So when you write it in Hindi, it's MST, basically. You're only writing the letters MST. So must. When you write it in Persian, you write it with the same letters in Persian, MST. But the implicit vowel in Persian is a, mast. Whereas the implicit vowel in Hindi is must. Hence why when you say it in Urdu, you say that
Must.
must.
Must means
Must kalang.
yeah. The guy a hermit or
Means very good.
oh,
that's
no,
fun.
that's also yeah, I
It's
think.
fun.
But in the so there's also this very proper Urdu versus non-proper.
Colloquial Urdu, what
Yeah,
normal
yeah.
people speak.
So yeah, so I think the proper old-fashioned Urdu it refers to usually a man who just who's a hermit and who finds his solace in some sort of spiritual practices which are not common in any culture.
In Persian now, mast means drunk.
Because here's the thing. So it has that implication because in general, let's say when you're making fun of somebody, you can say that, oh, he's must means like he's out of his senses. Yeah.
And then in old Persian, it meant like euphoria. So just like little things like that, or the word hamdam in Farsi is like our breath, whereas you say it in Hindi and Urdu hamdam because that's the way the vowel leans in South Asian languages. Well, in Hindi and Hindustani, in Bengali it's like
Urdu. That's very interesting. In Urdu, the word hum,
us.
Hum, yes, and dam means breath, but it refers to a couple. It could be friends too. It doesn't have to be a sexualized.
They're so
couple.
Close.
Yes, like they are soulmates.
That's what it means in Persian too.
Yeah.
So damet means your breath in Persian. Garm, I'm sure you can understand, means warm.
Garam, yeah. Garam.
Garm. So again, that implicit vowel is the more
in Urdu we don't have
in
that
in Hindi it's garmi.
Garam.
Again, that versus
And what more Arabic? You know Arabic too?
I'm learning Arabic. I can read Arabic.
Because
I can read Arabic.
Oh, okay. You should become the diplomat then. Because we have a great relationship with Saudi Arabia.
Pakistan?
No, the U.S.
Oh, the U.S. Oh.
Where are you sitting here? U.S. You're talking about the U.S. Unless you're in love with Urdu poetry.
I am. I
Yeah.
am. No, it's like my favorite thing. My favorite poem is Gulomirang.
Mm.
That's my favorite
You
thing
want
in
to
the
sing that
world.
or
I can sing it.
read
You
it?
want me to sing it?
Sure, yeah. I even had that sound mixture. Do you see that?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Gulomirang bhare badno bare chale gulon में रंग भरे बादलों बारे चले चले भैया के गुलशन का कारोबार चले गुलों में रंग भरे बादलों बारे चले.
That's
I like it.
amazing.
Thank you. My voice is not warmed up, and I can't do Hindustani. I can't do that. Ah, I can't do that.
Oh,
You know that. You know, like
Uh,
full on.
the
Rafat.
scale, the
You know
scale
what's
thing.
his name? Ali
Ra-
Khan.
ra- yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't
Well,
do
he has
Ah.
he's trained in a particular genre. Yeah.
Qawwali, but also
Yeah.
like this just like so much like the one thing that I love like in the last like few like since I started listening to South Asian music,
Mm.
the thing that I love is that like the whole art form is about improvisation.
Say more about that.
Yeah, like the whole method of showing your skills is like how can you be creative and just
While singing?
yeah, while singing.
Yeah, because
like
that's
you are
why.
like a
Yeah,
rock,
yeah.
like a rock. Yeah, there's no concept of rocks in the West.
Mm.
It's all very fixed. So like what I found out about that was
Because a lot of singers, when they'll sing the same thing, they might hit the different word and emphasize or make it longer. That's what you mean, right?
Mhm.
And that could also be the personal connection. Because
In Western music you're creative like and you do add your own spin on it, but to be the composer in the moment with every like the how you approach each note in the rock like that's just something that doesn't exist in the West. Iranian music, Persian music also encourages self composition as you sing as well. Like that's just something that's just missing from the West. I love listening to music that is not from the
so
West.
here it might also sound funny because people are not used to, especially the modern. Yeah, if you go a little older, like let's say old songs. Long, long time ago, but it might not really sound nice, or it might not have that range. For example, these words, gulom, right? Oh, you want to translate? A lot of people won't understand what you're saying.
Oh,
Gulom.
the
Yeah.
Gulomerang. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so this is actually there's like a whole. I think y'all need to find out about Pakistan. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
But
okay, great. I
no,
wasn't
like
sure this is a promotional video, but all right, great.
no, but like seriously, like Pakistan is such it's a very new country and it's had a very sordid and painful political history and it's such a sad thing. But then there's people like Faiz Ahmed.
Oh, I was gonna say there's people like Franklin. You like
I
Faiz
know, I
Ahmed.
know, but like politically speaking, like for a lot of its history, it's just been very painful for very sweet people, a lot of dictators,
Mhm.
and
And Faiz Ahmed Faiz was one of the poets. Oh,
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
telling the
So he
audience.
was, so he was prior to the partition, he was a communist, and after the partition, Pakistan leaned towards America, and India actually was the opposite. It leaned towards Russia.
Russia, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why still these two countries don't get along. Pakistan and India. Still, politically, I mean.
I'd say there's a couple other reasons. It's just sibling rivalry.
Mm.
Yeah. But, no, so like when the partition happened, Pakistan was more politically leaning towards the US, and they were very suspicious of communists, as was that time. And the first prime minister of Pakistan was assassinated, and they rounded up a bunch of people in what is called the Rawalpindi conspiracy, and Faiz Ahmed was one of them. And at that time, like people were, well, still there's a whole subgenre of Urdu poets who used to disguise um their problems with the government in love poetry. So they used to write love poetry in code to criticize the government through love poetry, and only like a select few of their followers could understand. And this is what Faiz did. He was in jail for years, in what could have killed him had he not been released. And he's sitting there in jail under false pretenses, and he writes this song "Gulo Merang Pare" as the color fills the blossoms. As the new breeze of spring comes to fill the blossoms with the color "Gulo Merang Pare Bare no Bahar Chale." Um, uh, Come to me, my love, so that this garden too might go about its business. And the whole poem is like Kafasudas, this prison is forlorn, and he's just, for years I thought it was just a beautiful love poem, and it was the most beautiful freaking thing I've ever heard in my life. I was like, damn, I was someone to talk to me like that. And then I found out, like, just recently, this whole subgenre, I was just like, so yeah, it's a really, really cool poem, and it has a very deep political meaning, not just actually for Pakistan. It's very, very popular in India. It's been in Bollywood movies. Arijit Singh sang it as well. But yeah, that's like one of my favorite genres of poetry. And like, I don't know, there's just something about Urdu and Hindi that just really just hits the ear. Yeah.
What else do you listen to from that part of the world?
From that part of the world,
Yes, this is ghazal, right?
this is a ghazal. This is
And you also use the term kawali. I don't know how to explain that. You can do a
Qawwali.
better job.
How do you explain? Well, it's Sufi devotional music, which, oh my God, like I grew up in an American church.
Yeah, we gotta talk about
Yeah,
that.
you're
Yeah.
Christian. I don't know what Christianity is like in Pakistan, but I bet it's fun.
No, I think you should go there and
I bet it's
test it out.
fun. I have a different Christian friend in Pakistan. He's a hoot. He like plays all these instruments. Like, bring that to a white church, man. Like, come on, juice it
So
up.
people run out of the church.
Juice it up, man. Juice it up. This is how we do it down in Pakistan.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love Qawwali music just because, like, for me, like growing up in a small town in Alaska, when we're like sitting there in the church, like, Jesus, Jesus, like this. And then
Oh, which denomination was it?
Protestant Church of Christ, Christian church. Like, it's just like there's so many that just what's the difference, honestly? What's the theological difference?
No. In
Protestant.
your particular experience.
Not Pentecostal for my later years. We went to a Pentecostal church when I was little.
Oh.
But like I'm listening to Tukuja, Mankuja. Tukuja, Mankuja, Tukuja, Mankuja. Like,
yeah,
I'm just like, damn, okay.
So there are variations also. So the churches, which are the older churches with this gigantic infrastructure from the British era, right? They still are very
yeah.
They might have translated some of the hymns in the local language, but the decorum is the same.
Have you ever heard Christmas carols played on Indian instruments?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What do you call Indian? More like sitar and
sitar, all the like South Asian instruments. I just discovered that last year because I made a video about all the different images of Jesus. That's like part of my activism is also comedy. So like people were freaking out that Jesus was in a keffiyeh, let alone the fact that Jesus is from Bethlehem, which is inhabited currently by Palestinians and has been for thousands of years.
Well, I thought Jesus looked like Brad Pitt. No.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Damn it. No, but like the Pope swaddled baby Jesus in a keffia, which I thought was beautiful, and people were freaking out, like, "Oh my god!" I was like, Jesus has come in so many forms over the centuries. Like, there's Chinese Jesus, there's depictions of Jesus in China, as East Asian. There's Korean Jesus. There's Persian Jesus, who like is depicted as actually Muslim in many ways. And then there's also
Oh, that's a very. I just want to make sure when we use the term Muslim or Muslim, uh, elaborate that a little bit more.
Well,
Like
but no, because
culturally,
because
culturally
actually people,
Muslim
yeah,
versus yeah.
yeah, because actually people don't, many non-Muslims don't understand this, but actually Maryam, actually has her own book in the Quran. So
Oh,
Jesus,
the I even forgot. What do you call that?
Mother of Jesus,
No, in the Arabic version.
Maryam,
Yeah, but
Maryam, Isa,
no, Isa is Jesus in
yeah,
Arabic. But that book you're referring to, the title of that.
Maryam,
Uh,
the book of Maryam,
yeah, but what do you say? The book? I
Quran.
think no. It's it's okay.
No,
It's
but
fine. Continue.
she has her own book in the
Yeah.
Quran, and so actually, what's interesting about Christianity in Iran is that Kurds,
With K?
yeah, Kurds, the Medes, the ancestors of Kurds, the ML, what is it? Is it Emilites? From southwestern Iran, a society that doesn't exist anymore, but now is called Khuzestan in Iran. So Khuzestan, Kurds, and people from northeast Iran are all recorded in the New Testament at the Pentecost. And Christianity has actually existed in Iran ever since. Actually, there was a time where Persian emperors were threatened by the new religion of Christianity, which happened a lot. It happened in a lot of empires, and Persia was no different. And there was persecution against Iranian Christians early on. And then, when Islam came, it kind of superseded everything. And so there is a very old Christian tradition in Iran, and a very an important part of the Bible comes from Iranian culture. And then later on, as Islam kind of superseded that, a lot of the depictions over the centuries were of Jesus in a Muslim sense, in the Muslim theology. So there's quite a mix of history there. But yeah, but Jesus has come in many, 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 many forms. People have depicted him as Ethiopian, people have depicted him as Native American, and one of my favorite ones is the Jesus from South Asia, there's a really beautiful
Brown Jesus?
I know.
No, I just want Jesus to be white.
I know,
No.
but there's a picture of Mary in a sari,
Oh.
and that was the prettiest thing. Little Mary in a sari, and Jesus has a little bun like Krishna. He has a little bun.
Oh.
A different one is Blue Jesus.
I haven't seen Blue Jesus.
Blue Jesus.
Where is he?
Blue skin from Kerala.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Aren't
Kerala.
Kerala in India, right?
Yeah,
I've seen those people in Dubai. I have never traveled to
Yeah,
India.
and then that's
I
another
have
one.
never traveled to Iran
That's
either.
another really interesting one. So I for a long time I associated Christianity in South Asia with colonialism, which is partially the truth.
Which is, but see, Indians would say Saint Thomas.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. And it's really interesting. Like the first Christians, recorded Christians in India, were Cochin Jews. So the Cochin Jews were a group of Jews who left after the destruction of the first temple. And they escaped to India, where they lived in complete peace, like no anti-Semitism, very strange and rare. And so they lived there. And in the book of the Apocrypha, the book of St. Thomas, he comes to India to find Malabar Cochin Jews, to find them and proselytize. And the early Christians of India were a group of Cochin Jews. Not everybody converted.
Jews were in Pakistan too, do you know?
Yeah, I know a Pakistani Jew.
Oh, right.
I do know one Pakistani Jew.
Wow.
I know. He's really nice.
I think I heard they were more toward the south in Karachi. And
They've been there for a long time because the Cochin Jews were there. Not everybody converted to Christianity, but that's actually how the Christian community started in South India. And historians assert and are sure that by at least the year 600, there was a very well established Christian community in South India. Now, interestingly enough, the Cochin Jews stayed, again, no anti Semitism, chilling in India. And then centuries later, after the Inquisition, um, loads of Sephardic Jews went to North Africa. They went to Palestine, um, and many escaped to India. And that's how the second wave of Sephardic Jews also landed in India and now Pakistan.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's a really, really cool
Yeah.
mix of traditions there. But yeah, I do know one Pakistani Jew. He's a really nice guy.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Where does he live?
I think he lives in Pakistan.
Oh, okay, okay.
I think
I
he
was
lives
assuming
in Pakistan.
like somewhere here in
No, no,
New York,
no. I
Brooklyn.
think he lives in Pakistan.
Because see, I don't know
he
much. I have
he
never
sells kosher
traveled
food.
to. Oh, okay. I have
Yeah,
never
he's
traveled
like
to the south.
he's like he markets kosher food in Pakistan. Like that's his job.
Great.
Yeah.
Because I have seen the images of Pakistan from 60s on social media. It was very different. Women in skirts and stuff,
In the
and
Saudi.
no, even skirts
Yeah, yeah.
in
There was
liquor
that dictator.
stores.
There was this Pakistani girl I was watching, and she was talking about the history of the Saudi in Pakistan. And there was a dictator. I can't remember his name, but he actually banned public displays of the Saudi in Pakistan. And it was like at one point, I can't remember his name, but at one point it was like a political statement
Hmm.
to wear a Saudi. And there was a singer, a Pakistani singer, and like after this band had kind
Who
of been
left the country and
no, no,
went to?
she did it
Oh,
in Pakistan.
oh, okay.
She like they said no more Saudi. We're wearing kurta. This is Islamic.
Hmm.
And she just got up on stage in her Saudi like
Because
yeah.
constitutionally, Pakistan became an Islamic republic, a republic in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And then they began this they
The
banned the
cultural purge.
clubs and
Yeah.
liquor stores and
Yeah.
Western dresses. But I don't know which president was it in the 60s, US president, because they were really close to the US.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see those black and white pictures, you couldn't tell who was a Pakistani and who was not because the way they dressed up and all that stuff. But see, when I saw it, it was like a mess, especially after 9/11. I think it became very um, difficult for the minorities in terms of religious minorities, because I think one thing you'll understand better, people who live like in Iran or Pakistan and who identify with Christianity, it doesn't matter Roman Catholicism or Pentecostalism, but the assumption is that they share the same values and belief system that the US does. So maybe they are more loyal to the US and less loyal to the Islamic system. And that's why after 9/11, I think it was very, very difficult time for the Christian community.
In Iran, it's a little different. Islam and Christianity are recognized religions.
In Iran?
In the Constitution of the Islamic Republic.
Mhm.
What will get you arrested in Iran is being Baha'i, who they see as apostates.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a ongoing genocide against Baha'i in Iran, and converting to Christianity.
Mhm.
Um,
Converting, I don't think is allowed in any Islamic country.
yeah. But that will get you hunted down. As far as being like a Christian, the Islamic Republic regime does like to tokenize their Christians. There's a lot of Armenians in Iran and a lot of beautiful Armenian mixed cathedrals with there's actually a really cool one called Vank Cathedral, and it's a mixture of Armenian and Persian architecture in the cathedral. But the regime loves these because it allows them to be like, hey, religious tolerance, even though I mean they more persecute people like that they deem outside of their uh bounds, like people who convert to Christianity, or Sunnis or Baha'is. Baha'is are one of the most persecuted minorities in Iran, uh, alongside Baluch, who are Sunni.
But Baloch is more like an ethnic group. Why would they
Yes.
kill them?
Because the regime is well, they're not Shia. They call themselves Shia, but like most of the people they persecute are Shia Muslims. So like, are you really Shia if you just keep killing Shias? Because like, when these mothers are standing on the internet, like in a niqab, begging like, "Ya Allah, help me and my son," like, which sect do you think they is? They're Shias. Like that's the people they're killing. And actually Shias in Iran, because most of Iran's not really that religious, but the people that are, like the regime people are even a minority within them. So there's like people who are still like religious, and then there's actually people who are in the regime.
But they have power. They have ammunition. They can control the other people, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of fear. But interestingly, during the revolution, there's the holiday of Ashura. Um, Shias in Iran were playing patriotic music for the martyrs of the woman life freedom movement. They were singing songs for the dead protesters, which shocked a lot of people who aren't, a lot of Iranians, most Iranians are not religious, which it shocked a lot of Iranians that maybe didn't expect that from like religious people. But yeah, there's definitely a part of Iran that like even the religious people who, still like my friend's mom still lives in Iran, wears hijab. She went out and was like, right, I'm gonna fight for these girls. I'm gonna wear hijab, but she doesn't get to wear hijab. Yeah. And she was like out, like putting herself on the line for these girls. So like the regime is just, it's a cult. It's like a weird cancer that grew off. But the Baluch are majority Sunni. And what happens to the
B-B-L-O, right?
Baluch, yeah.
Baloch,
Baluch, yeah. The Baluch are majority Sunni. But talking, because there's no paperwork on this genocide. And I know that in Pakistan as well, Baluchistan is also heavily underdeveloped.
Yeah, and there's always some sort of internal war or conflict between the government
in
and
Iran.
the
In Iran, the regime, it's apartheid. It's apartheid. It's absolutely ethnic and religious apartheid against Baluch people. They divert water resources away from Baluch, so Baluch don't have running water. They have to walk for miles to go to a dirty river. They don't have clean drinking water. They're not allowed to teach their own language in schools in Iran. And Baluch actually has different sounds than Persian.
Yeah, Balochi languages.
Yeah,
they also have different music. Do you know
I love it.
Yeah.
I love Baluchistan. I love Baluchistan. They're so sweet. They're such sweet people. But they have different linguistic sounds because they're right in between, because they straddle Iran, Afghanistan, and they're right on the border with Hindustani in like Pakistan. They have a really, really fascinating and unique cultural hodgepodge. They're a Western Iranian language, but they have some sounds that sound Eastern Iranian, like Pashto. Pashto is one of the only Iranian languages that has arda.
Say a word in Pashto.
Arda? Oh no, God, I don't know.
How are you?
Arda.
I knew a few words long time
I can't
ago.
speak Pashto, but I know that they have this arda like.
यारों सबा से कुछ तो कहो, कहीं तो कहे रे खुदा आज जिक्र यार चले चले भी आओगे गुलशन का